Stefano Pontecorvo. He is a former NATO senior representative and a former advisor to the Italian defense minister, and he joins us now live from Rome. Thank you very much for joining us here on TRT World. So certainly alliances are changing. Is that a good thing for global world order?
Well, it's happening. So I think that these are processes that need to be governed and need to be governed openly. Of course, we heard the British foreign minister say that this is an epochal event. I think it's a lot more, how can I say, a landmark event for Europe than it is for the rest of the world. But, as Europe is still an important part of the world, it needs to be looked at. So yes, there is a certain realignment, but I think that also that in the end, it's the economic factors which will be just as important as the political factors. And I think we're concentrating a bit too much on the political factors in the long run.
Okay, so economic factors are going to play a pivotal role, as you say. And when we look at China, certainly China is a big player in world economy right now. We have seen the West become stronger than ever before in the wake of Russia's attacks on Ukraine. But tell me, don't you think this unity among the West is going to push Russia closer to China? And if that happens, that would become a big problem for the West in the future.
I think it already has pushed Russia closer to China. But, I think that, the West is slowly realizing that China is not the only friend that the Russians have. There are a number of medium and smaller players, which are a big mess, which are not going to take sides against Russia. And so it is, Russia has a number of cards to play, not only because it is, a powerhouse economically, whatever the growth, whatever the dimension of the GDP is, but it has a lot of energy potential. It has a lot of export potential, and it's a very interesting market and a very interesting supplier for a number of countries. So, China and Russia, on the other hand, China is going to be careful not to bring Russia too close, because, of course, the Chinese are maybe the only superpower that put their economic interest at least on the same level as their political interests. And they have by cozying up too much to Putin, they have no interest whatsoever in alienating their major markets, which are still the Western world.
Okay, now you've made some very interesting points that Russia still has some cards that it can play. This is what I wonder at this point. Do you think the West has factored this in when it makes new alliances with countries? I mean, looking at what has happened over the past few months, certainly there's a lot of concern among people's minds. So tell me, how do you think that is going to impact global order in the near future?
Look, I think the global order is going to be fragmented around, I'm talking about the global economic order, and that bleeds into the political sphere. It's going to be around the two major blocks, which are the US plus the rest of us, which you may consider as you want, the West, so to speak, and China plus its, plus the countries which are closer to China. Then there are a number of major players, starting from India, starting from South Africa, starting from Brazil, starting from, people who are certainly, kind of democracies, or who share a number of our values, but who look at their economic interest, and from their point of view, they're right.
Okay, Stefano, just one quick question, a very important one indeed. I mean, certainly since the start of Russia's attack on Ukraine, there have been efforts by some countries to completely isolate Russia. Tell me, can the world afford to lose Russia? Very quickly, though, sir.
I think it can, actually. I think the world can afford to lose Russia. I hope it doesn't, but I think it can.
All right, Mr. Stefano Pontecorvo, thank you very much for talking to us here on TRT World. Really appreciate your taking out the time, sir.